Check, check. All right, hi everybody. I'm Ruben.
Oh, I'm Mike. Sorry. I can't follow up Tara, man. I'm trying to follow that up.
Yeah.
It's hard to do.
So he read our bios. We were planning on introducing ourselves to you, but something that he didn't say is that we do work for U.S. That's the old name, Global Technical Learning Solutions. Tara's our boss, and but what that really is, that's the global training department. We support U.S. manufacturing sites mainly in operations, in the maintenance groups, and the engineering groups. So we have the pleasure to talk to you about leadership training, leadership scenario training. So just like Tara, corporate comms made me put some slides in here too. Funny, mine were different than hers though. I don't what's the deal?
Consistency.
So I have to show you these legal statements here. Cautionary note regarding forward-looking statements. So a lot of legal jargon there. I hope you have fun reading that one. All right. But we already told you about who we are. But look at this picture here. So it's a paraglider. Have you ever been paragliding, parasailing? So I've been parasailing in Mexico before, right? But I've seen those videos that weren't so successful in the takeoff and landing. You get dragged in the water, dragged across the ground. So it can be a little scary. So I think about that when I was a new supervisor. It was a little scary getting started, right? It wasn't smooth sailing at first, or so I thought. But you know, when I did that parasailing, I got up in the air. It was beautiful. It was tranquil. It was peaceful. I really thoroughly enjoyed it because I received a little training from the folks that were doing that. So likewise, a new supervisor, if they receive training, they receive the right tools that we provide them in our fundamental leadership program. But here's the key. You get a chance to practice them, right? Not on a real scenario, but on something that's a play. And, you can make believe, right? And you can practice those skills. So then you can be successful. Then you can soar as a leader, just like the paraglider there. So we developed a leadership scenario training. That's like the John Kionis of What Would You Do? You ever seen that program? No? They put people in situations that are awkward where it makes the skin crawl on the back of your neck, right? And they're going to speak up and say something and get involved. And they do. Some of them do. So what about that for supervisors? We put in front of them bad employees, not acting right. As a supervisor, you have to address that. We just did the tagline, what would you do? How would you handle it? So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about why we needed to do that leadership development. What were some of the skill gaps that were observed? And we're also going to talk about how we partnered with Channelview, with David Gosney's group. He presented the safety moment. They were very supportive in helping us put this together. And then Mike's going to talk to you about connecting through communications. That's the applying of those tools that you learned in the Foundational Leadership Program to the videos that we're going to show you. How did our rollout go? How did our pilot go? What are we going to do next to grow this? And then we'll have an opportunity for questions. Same slide I was supposed to put in, right? Corporate made me put it in. But one thing I want to focus on this slide is the number of employees, 20,000 plus in over 20 different countries, 20 different manufacturing 20 different countries, a lot of manufacturing sites. The reason I tell you that is that it's going to take great leaders to manage those peoples, right? So if you're not developing your leaders who are pretty important assets in our business, right, you're not going to be successful in your organization. So that's why we have leadership development.
Yeah, so thanks, Ruben. I'll start out, right, wake y'all up here. A show of hands, we've been talking about simulators all morning long, right? So show of hands right now, like, who has process simulators at their site right now? All right. I'm not going to put you on the spot. You feel free to just blurt it out. What are some of the advantages or benefits of having that? I'm here all day. What's that? Failure with no consequences. Okay. Anybody else? No. Builds confidence. There you go, right? And so we have a few at our various sites around the United States, right? So what we found out, it benefits, right? It builds confidence, right? So it builds the confidence. It builds that technical skill set that we're needing those operators to have, right, so that they can properly maneuver through scenarios that are stressful, right? Whether it's startup, whether it's shutdown, a pump trips, right? We're building the capabilities of them. We're building that confidence so they can repeat and develop good habits, right? So in thinking that mindset, we thought about it as a team. Like I said, so man, how can we? There's not a simulator that we can purchase to build up our soft skills, right? So we recognize there's a gap, and we've talked about it all morning with the younger generation. We the older, well, shouldn't say older, right? But the more experienced people have retired, and their soft skills are lost, and we have a new generation of leaders, right, that are vital to set the culture, not only the safety culture, but our operating culture and all that for not only their shift, but their unit and then the site, right? So it's very important for us we thought, hey, let's build something because there's nothing out there that we can purchase to build up those capabilities, those soft skills. So we set out, partnered with Channelview, decided on, hey, how are we going to go about this? Because previously, like Ruben alluded to, we had live scenario training, right? Where we had actors and all that. It was a big ordeal. Kind of went over the top a little bit. Got good reviews, but here's the deal. It was only in a classroom setting. So we wanted to make it real, go out in the field, but then we were having trouble finding a quiet place that we could record, right? We couldn't shut down the unit, right? Or nothing like that. So we decided we're going to leverage our partnership with San Jacinto College and do that outside production at the glycol unit. So then we decided, hey, how do we come up with the right topics to go over, right? What are some of the challenges that our frontline leaderships guys are seeing right now? So we looked at all our sites across the U.S., polled them, asked them like, hey, what scenarios what issues are you having? So came back, they said, well, we're having issues with people wearing PPE. All right, we're having issues with operators and HSC people out in the field arguing over lockout, tagout, because that never happens, right? Like it always smooth sailing. So confrontation, difficult employees, inappropriate conversations at the lunch table or, in the control room. But in essence, we decided to build these so that we could equip those guys with the experience, the knowledge, and the confidence of dealing with these situations so they could have a soft landing like when you're parasailing.
Just a little bit more on the background there, why we chose to go video versus live action. So as Mike mentioned, it was a very popular program, but it was a 2-day course you had to attend. We had huge sets. We had a maintenance control room set, a supervisor control room set, a control room, a lunch area. We had like 12 actors, people behind the scenes shooting the video, recording it. And imagine taking that around the United States. It was a big difficulty, right? And then the actors, if you don't have your lines memorized, you're impromptu, you can't control the scene. So we chose to shoot it because shoot it on video, makes it easy for portability, load it up in the cloud. We can take it to any site we want to and deliver this course with, some of you may know Reggie Sinnett. He's our leadership instructor. He can travel around the United States and deliver this to the different various leaders in our sites there. It also makes it consistent for what they're going to say, because right, we can reshoot it if it was said the wrong way, or we can pause the video and we have a discussion at any time right there at the moment. So we thought, what would you do type scenarios like John Quiones would be the best solution. And that's what we did. We developed some of those. And Mike already went over the topics that we covered there. Did something else you want to cover on that one, Mike?
Yeah, sorry, got out of sorts there, right? So no, but what we wanted to do with this is really immerse the person into it, right? And so we want to show you this clip real quick and watch it, and there'll be some more interaction. So watch the video if you don't mind playing that video,
and when
please.
he plays it, think about how are you going to handle this situation, because we're going to ask you.
Hey, Mike.
Yeah.
Hey, I need you to have on all the proper PPE if you're going to be out here doing work out in the unit.
It's all right, man. Like, I just made relief. We got to get this pump going real quick. I'll just be a second.
No, you don't understand, Mike. if you're gonna be doing work out in the unit, you need to have on all the proper PPE.
Oh, yeah, give me a second. Give me a second, I will.
No, I need you to go now and get the proper PPE on, please.
Hey, whatever.
All right, so after watching that, how would you handle that? I know we have ex-operators up here, ex-supervisors and stuff like that. Come on. Fixed it. Yeah, I would fire him, actually. I would fire that guy. But how would you handle it?
Well, I believe it's the truth, probably the most genuine approach. All of us, right, that worked in operations have seen things go wrong. And for me personally, I probably would share a story, fortunately, a few. Things were closed or did happen a little bit, and just paint the picture for that person of the possibilities, you know, from just a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. Anybody else want to share? No?
Yeah, I mean, I would ask why he thought that it was okay to behave that way.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, I agree with Dale. During the turnaround, we had this situation happen, and I just told the guy, I said, look, I'm not trying to be a jerk, but I want you to walk out that gate the same way you came in. We owe that to your family.
Right.
So I know it's inconvenient, but can you please just go put on the PPE and then you can get back to work.
Yeah.
And I found that, you know, that empathy that was mentioned earlier, that kind of helps for them to apply.
Yeah, right. Absolutely.
I noticed in the video, Reggie had a spare of gloves. To that point, and from Richard's talk from earlier, I think a very strong thing that he could have done if the task was really that urgent and needed to get done, he could have put his gloves on, you know, pushed you out of the way, so to speak, and said, well, let's get this done real fast, but stay here. And the minute that it's done, that removes the urgency of the task, and now you've got a moment of high influence and an available audience, and you're clear-headed to have that coaching conversation.
Right. All excellent. Excellent. Yes, ma'am.
So I think, you know, they're going to say that at this moment, but if you went out the next day, they may look exactly the same again, right? And so it becomes a source of, well, I did it this time and I didn't get injured. So once I asked one of my employees, what would you like me to tell your family when you're in the hospital? Because I'm going to be the one standing there wondering why you didn't think PPE was important. So I just need to know what to tell them. And that mindset really changed that employee, because now all of a sudden it is personal, right? It is their safety and our safety at the plant. So I think sometimes we have to realize rushing that, right, it's not worth the risk that we're trying to keep our employees safe.
It's not that you're in the hospital, that's the work, you know, that's bad, right? And I told them the same thing before. I'm knocking on your loved one's door saying you're not coming home because you didn't have the PPE on.
Yeah. Yeah, all great, right? And just like this is what we were really striving for, because we're showing these videos in a classroom setting after they've been through our leadership and development program, learning about the soft skills. Now we want watch them apply that knowledge and talk, right? And engage with each other. Empathy is a huge, huge deal, right? And so, go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's a safety culture issue, because you should have complied after the first conversation. If you did not collaborate from the first warning, that means something is not right. Culture-wise, safety culture-wise, in the country.
Yeah, something we talked about a lot is turnover, so like how many new employees we have. And so you have to figure out like maybe what motivates this person. Maybe they don't have families, so you can't pull that card. You can say, hey, I need you to be a good role model out here, because you know what you're doing, and you might think you're not going to get hurt, but you're setting an example for others. They're going to be new, they're going to pull the wrong valve, they're not going to have PPE on. So if you don't want them to get hurt, like set that example. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And here, go ahead.
Did we just count how many violations were in that video? Because I heard gloves, but there were multiple violations.
Multiple. Like I said, that guy, he should be fired, man, right? But to y'all's points, right? We're not going to fix it here, but these are the conversations that we're striving for our young leaders of our organization. When we put them in a classroom setting and go through these, that they'll talk amongst each other, because there's not, for lack of a better word, there's not one way to skin a cat, right? So there's multiple avenues. Not only that, but we're driving home everything that we've taught them in leadership development, whether that's conversation, using a conversation planner, dealing with difficult employees because we, is that guy, to your point, is that guy have history? Does he not wear his PPE? Or did he just have a bad day, get in an argument with his wife and show up at work and it's shift change? You know what I mean? We got to give some empathy to those people and find out the backstory as well, right? But those are the conversations that we're looking to drive for those new leaders that, someone mentioned it early, David with the picture. The newer generation they're talking on their phone. They're not really face-to-face interaction. We're trying to drive that interaction to make that normal and make it to where when that situation arises, it's comfortable, right? Going back to that simulator, it's comfortable to them. They're confident in dealing with it.
Do you embed level leaders in the room so that the younger ones aren't just being told, hey, you can share a story about hospital or whatnot, but you have a leader who can say, I've gone to the hospital before.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't got that, but we do bring in the higher level of our sites and even include HR to ensure that we are advising them on the proper way to handle the situation as well.
So we're developing that curriculum. That curriculum would be even the experienced leaders attend these leadership scenario training. This is kind of like continuing development. They have those discussions. What I want to add to Mike, because I've attended the foundational leadership program for our company, and there's a lot that goes on here. What kind of conversation do I need to have? Is this his first offense? Is it his second offense? Is it his third offense? Is it an HR disciplinary problem? Or is it maybe I didn't set out the expectations as the leader, right? This is about leadership, what the leaders do, not what this guy's doing bad. It's about how are you going to address this as a leader and your role. Could it be, there was one more I was going to share with you with the conversation, right? It's expected before you make relief, you have all your PPE on before you even go make relief, right? So that step didn't even take place. So which conversation are you having with this employees? It could be all of them, but it really depends, right? So that's the kind of qualities we're talking about when you develop your leaders in these conversations. Sorry, Mike.
No, you're good. Function better.
Thank you. So we did pilot this at our LaPorte site in Q4 of 2024, and it was very successful. It was received well by these seasoned supervisors to test it out. They did provide some feedback. We tweaked it a little bit. We didn't know there was going to be so much discussion just like we had here. It took a little more time. It's a full 8-hour day to go through these scenarios and have discussions. I don't think they even made it through all 6 of them that we had. They only made it through like 4 of them. So that was some things we had to plan for, and we scheduled them for 2025, 4 sessions for our manufacturing sites, and we'll add more sessions as the need arises for that. And but we're thinking about further than that. How can we sustain this? How can these stay in use? It does take some time to go shoot these videos, right, and put it together and script it. We don't want it sitting on the shelf. So can they be put into a micro-learning and administered through a learning management system where they can be on demand, digital, when you need them, and maybe a manager or HR can sit with their supervisors and have these exact discussions. And we certainly can build our repository and make more scenes as well. So we look forward to doing that. We will do that. And this is the last, I forgot to tell you the comments too. The comments on the rave reviews, they got 5 stars. They thought it was very applicable to the job and using the tools that they learned, now they get to apply them. So it was good to hear that.
Yeah, also one he's forgetting is they really love the acting too. So, but in all seriousness though, like this was one we pointed out because it really hits home. It goes back to that question that I was asking y'all at the beginning, if y'all have simulators, right? The scenarios are realistic and can be related to in the field. So that meant to us being on the team that started this, right? It really hit home because that's what we were trying to do, is put them in that situation, real life situation where they had to think about it. Because the more you can put your mind into that problem, the more comfortable you will be, right? So there was I'll go off topic a little bit. There was an active aggressor shooter training that we did at work, and we had an FBI guy come, right? And one thing that stood out to me was a comment he made is like, it was your body can't go where your mind hasn't been, right? So I'll let that soak in for a second, because that is huge when we're talking about training these leaders, these future leaders in our program. We want them to put them in that situation so that when that situation arises, it's gravy, right?
All right, this is some of the scenes from our different scenarios there, but we're open to any questions you have, and we'll try to answer them.
Thank you. I'll take autographs back there. So
Got one question back there.
So is this now part of new supervisor onboarding? So in other words, this learning incorporated into a standardized growth path, development path for your new supervisors?
yes.
Yeah, we're building curriculums right now, and it will be part of that. So, yes. This is another slide I had to interject that corporate comm made me put in. So if you'd like to know more about Lined Up a Sale, you can follow on any of our social media platforms, and the bottom QR code is straight to our Venmos for tips.
No. Any other questions? Any other questions? Yes, sir.
I got a question. So, Carol was talking about these 30-second to 2-minute learning. Is this a similar format that they'll use for that as well?
Yeah, these range between 4 or 5 minutes with the pauses, and the pauses are built in so that it'll drive the conversations like we had just now. So we designed them that short, to her point as well, that we could roll these out. Other disciplines could roll them out. You know, it doesn't have to just be GTLS. It could be HR, it could be management, right, at your particular site. So,
But as far as those learnings, is this the same format that they'll use for those little 30-second clips or 2 minutes?
as far as develop, yes, sir.
Thank y'all guys, thank y'all.